Scene 1. A flaming background with a dark figure wielding a giant sword while a narrator introduces the story. Narrator. 2 millenniums ago there was a war between the human world and the other, the underworld. But somebody from the underworld woke up to justice and stood up against this legion alone. His name was Sparda. Later, he quietly reigned the human world and continued to preserve harmony until his death. He became a legend, the legendary Dark Knight, Sparda. As the music stops, the street is shown. The street is dark and quiet, lightning flashes in the distance, and the camera pans upwards towards the full moon. Suddenly, a woman clad in black suit and glasses appears as if from the moon and lands on the street. The camera pans around her as she rises, and she turns to see a large red glowing sign, "Devil May Cry," at the end of the street. A phone is heard ringing. Cut scene 2. The camera slowly pans to the right, showing us the front door, an empty bottle and something like a dartboard next to the door. A man's black boot resting on the desk comes into view as he is talking on the phone. Man. Devil May Cry. Sorry we closed at 9. He hangs up the phone as the camera cuts to a view of the wall, clearly showing his collection of heads. The camera continues panning to the right along the wall as the man continues to speak. Man. Again, no password. I can't seem to get any more business. The sound of a motorbike engine is heard. The camera cuts to a view of the front door as suddenly a red motorbike with a blonde woman riding it plows through the door and comes to a rest just before the man's desk. The camera moves towards the man, showing us for the first time his appearance. He raises his left hand casually. Man! Whoa! Slow down, babe. He is obviously relaxed, even though a motorbike just came crashing through his front door. The camera cuts to a view of the woman as she climbs off the motorbike. Man! Well, what do we have here? The man sits upright as the woman seems to inspect the room. Man! Nature calls. It's in the back. The camera cuts to the woman. As she continues looking around the room, the camera again cuts to the wall, shown before that had the heads. Woman. So you must be the handyman who will take any dirty job, am I correct? Man. Almost. The white-haired man gets up and walks over towards his sword, which is conveniently placed over a model's breasts, a poster. He grabs the sword and swings it casually. Man. I only take special jobs, if you know what I mean. Camera cuts to a 2-shot, showing the man's back and the woman at the same time as the camera pans across him and then down to the sword he is holding in his right hand. Woman. You're the man who lost a mother and a brother to evil 20 years ago, the son of the legendary Dark Knight Sparda, Mr. Dante. Dante begins walking towards the mysterious woman and starts swinging the sword again. Dante. Well, the way I figure it, in this business, a lot of your kind come along, and if I kill each one that comes, eventually I should hit the jackpot sooner or later. Dante then points the tip of the blade towards the woman. Camera cuts to a MS of the woman. Woman. In the case, you should be used to this sort of thing. The woman raises her right hand as it begins to glow with yellow energy. She grabs the blade of the sword and shocks Dante, making him scream in pain. He drops the sword just as the woman follows up with a powered-up high kick that phases Dante. The woman attacks again, kneeing Dante in the chin, sending him flying to crash through the pool table. The woman catches the sword by the blade and throws it like a spear, straight into Dante's chest. He yells in pain as the woman continues to feed energy into the sword. Woman. Ha ha ha, are you really the son of the legendary Dark Knight Sparda? Didn't your daddy teach you how to use a sword? The woman abruptly stops feeding energy and grabs the bike that was originally used to crash through the doors earlier. She easily picks it up and hurls it towards Dante, who is still lying on the ground. Dante, who now seems to be free of pain regardless of the sword, twirls his 2 handguns, ebony and ivory. Dante, A sword! Ha ha! Time to go to work, guys. Dante stops twirling his handguns as flames seem to rise from his body and slows down the speed of the flying bike. He unloads his 2 guns into the bike, sending it flying back to the woman. The woman, not expecting the counterattack, runs and jumps to flee from the burning bike. "Woman! No!" The woman quickly raises her head and turns around, spotting Dante, standing up with each gun in hand and the sword still in his chest. He begins to walk towards her. "Dante, even as a child I had powers. There is demonic blood in me." The woman begins to retreat as a line of fire in front of the door forms behind her. Woman, what strength! Dante begins casually pulling out the sword in his chest with one hand and throws it to the ground, the blade sticking into the wooden floor. "Dante, you were the first one to know about my vengeance. Looks like I'm getting close." Dante aims a gun straight at the woman. The camera cuts to a view of the gun pointed at her. Dante hesitates, and the woman begins to explain herself as she gets up. "Trish, it seems that way. But I'm not your enemy. My name is Trish." Trish turns around, her back facing Dante. "Trish, I came here to seek your help, to put an end to the underworld." "Dante, what?" The woman takes off her glasses and turns around to face Dante again. Dante gasps and apparently recognizes her. The camera cuts to a picture of a woman, identical in appearance to Trish, lying on the floor. The thunder strikes again. Cut scene 3. We get shown a view of the moon, which the camera begins to slowly zoom into, showing the moon slowly turning into an orb-like object, with a flame burning inside as Trish begins to speak. Trish. 20 years ago, Mundus, the emperor of the underworld, resurrected. Dante, Mundus, Trish. Yes, his powers were sealed by Spada. He's attempting to take control of the human world again. He has been preparing to open the gate on Mallet Island. The camera pans downward and shows an island into the distance. It begins zooming in quickly across the water. The camera then cuts to the waves crashing against the cliffs of Mallet Island as it pans upwards to show some birds flying in the sky. Cut scene 4. The camera cuts to a gate and suddenly a sword appears between two half doors, thus opening the gate. The gates swing open and we see Trish and Dante standing together. They walk in and look upwards. "Trish, the castle is above this cliff. Come on, let's go." Trish then seems to jump 100 meters or so into the air and easily makes it onto the platform above as Dante, obviously not being able to jump that high, just continues looking upwards as the gates behind him slam shut. Mission 3, Destroyer of Arda. Dante walks forward as the shield surrounding the Pride of the Lion diminishes. He now stands in front of the Pride of the Lion and takes it. Then, suddenly, Alastor starts growing electricity around it, warning Dante of a nearby enemy, which comes through the glass on the roof of the cathedral landing, 10 feet away from him. It is a greatly oversized spider, with its skin made of hard rock, with lava on the inside. Then, it slowly walks forward on its 8 legs. Phantom. Another small one. I sensed something a little bigger. What a disappointing catch. Dante. What a big surprise. I hope for your sake you have something inside that big body of yours. Dante knocks on the demon's head, and demon's eyes turn a blazing red. Phantom. You puny, pathetic thing. I'll step on you like an ant. He raises one of his arms ready to smash Dante, since he has him cornered. But right before his arm hits Dante, jumps over the big demon, and the battle begins. Phantom Boss Fight 1. As Dante lands the final blow, the phantom rears back a little, screaming in pain. Then it makes a hole in the ground and disappears, thus ending the mission when Dante exits the blue door to the right. Mission 4. Black Knight. Dante walks into a bedroom, and to release the melancholy soul, he drives the sword he has found deep into the hold in the statue. Cutscene 1. Suddenly, ominous music comes in, and Alasta starts to spark electricity, indicating an imminent danger. Dante has his back to a mirror, which shows his reflection turn around. Dante now also turns to see his reflection walk out of the mirror. A blue cloud envelops the mirror image to reveal a devil, about 8 feet tall, clad head to toe in dark armor. The knight takes out his huge sword, and Dante steps casually backwards. Dante, this stinking hole was the last place that I thought I'd find anyone with some guts. The knight clicks his fingers, and the nearby windows onto the balcony swing open. He gestures for Dante to follow him and jumps out. Cutscene 2. As Dante goes out and lands on the ground outside, he sees his opponent towering high above him. A variety of different colors are flowing up and down his armor, and after outstretching his arms, he jumps down to attack. Nello Angelo Boss Fight 1. Cutscene 3. After a brief fight, Dante knocks his sword from his hands. He draws his sword for the kill, but Nilo kicks his sword out of his hand. Nilo kicks again and is blocked, and then swings a left hook and then a right, and is also blocked. He then spins around with an aerial roundhouse kick, sending Dante to the ground. Nilo grabs him and holds him against the wall by the neck. Nilo Angelo sees Dante's amulet. He throws Dante to the ground, and suddenly lightning starts blazing around him, and he clutches his head in agonizing pain. The blue light closes around him, and he sort of teleports up into the sky. Mission 8. The Legendary Knight returns. Cutscene 1. Setting: dusk on the castle rooftop, a small circular arena with a glass floor. As Dante walks through the area, a gate comes crashing down. For the moment, his path is barred. As Dante takes a tentative step backward, he whirls around in surprise at a small avalanche of pebbles from a nearby terrace. Phantom appears, and the creature wastes no time in hopping off the balcony and confronting Dante face to face.